Hey guys, so I am going to kind of show you behind the scenes of me recording one of my episodes of my podcast. So I'm going to be reading, recording, and filming. So hopefully, I don't know, you can still technically listen to it without me having to screen record from Spotify. I'm using this microphone for now. I ordered one, it should be here Monday, and it's supposed to be really, I don't know, like a really good microphone, really good quality. I'm feeling some 90s nostalgia for these butterfly clips, but anyway, figured I would show you how I do this. So I'm gonna try to make it fast because it's 9:30. My husband goes to bed soon. I should actually be in bed, but yeah, this is the only time that I can do it. Both our boys are sleeping, and yeah, so get ready for behind the scenes of I'm Just an Asshole Sometimes. And I don't know, let me know what you think of this podcast so far. If you like it, I'm open to criticism as long as it's not cruel, like you're ugly, your voice sounds like dying cats, stuff like that, just constructive criticism, if you will. So on that note, I am going to start recording. I have my phone here, got camera here, got my Kindle here to read Reddits that I picked out previously that I think would be good for this episode. So we shall start. Hey guys, it's Clarissa, and we're back with another episode of I'm Just an I hate that sometimes when I get too much in my head. Hey guys, this is I'm Just an Asshole Sometimes podcast, and I'm your host, Clarissa, and we shall be reading some Reddit posts from different forums. So I'm going to get started and pick a post. I read this one, and this one just kind of, just infuriated me. So, stupid. Okay. I should have had the app pulled up. See, I'm used to the app, not the, like format that it is here. So, this is a good one too. Okay. Of course, it's removed now. Are you kidding me? This would have been a really good one, but oh, that pisses me off. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna go with this. This is from Surviving Infidelity. So, let's see. I'm gonna start the podcast over because that was ridiculous. Hey guys, this is I'm Just an Asshole Sometimes podcast, and I'm your host, Clarissa, and we're gonna be reading some Reddit posts. I'm gonna start with one from Surviving Infidelity. So, here we go. I, 34 male, am so lost after finding condoms in my 35 female purse. I think they mean girlfriend. 1 year later, 5-year relationship. Hi all, I've been wanting to post here for months, but I was honestly scared it would just be an emotional mess, as that's probably why I am what I am most of the time. 1 year, 2 months ago, I found condoms in my partner's purse. She was dressing up, going out more, secretive on her phone, going to bed, and shutting door. I had a hunch and checked her purse and found 2 condoms. She said they were planted there and that she had no idea how they got there. After some moments, she said she didn't go through with it. After a few fake stories, I believe the real one came out, and she said she was on Ashley Madison, which, if you guys didn't know, it's a website for people who are married or in serious long-term relationships to cheat. That she was on Ashley Madison, found a guy. They went to a motel room, but just sat on the couch for an hour, therefore never cheated. She's maintained this for an entire year and makes me feel extremely bad if I doubt this. We decided to go through with an open relationship for some reason. It was 4 months of hell. She would keep hooking up with guys after I said stop. She eventually said we can close it around July 2021. It's 7 months later, and all I do is think that she's cheating on me, especially if she displays similar behavior. If I ask her, she will start calling me paranoid or say that I need to trust her. I mentioned we need to get help, but she shrugs that off and says she won't talk to a therapist, or she'll crack it if he accuses her of anything. I don't know why she gets so angry at me when I am hurting over this. I'm trying to talk about how we can communicate better, but she says that she's apologized once, and that's all that's needed. I feel like I don't know how a relationship is meant to feel anymore. Am I asking for too much support? And why can't we talk about these issues to reconcile? She said to me last night that she doesn't want me to ask her questions more than 3 times, else she will get frustrated. That's not right, is it? Okay, wow. So many red flags in here. First of all, about the open relationship. If both parties are not 100% down, I don't think you should open it. You shouldn't open it for fear of losing your partner, because you're just in for a lot of heartache. I've seen this before, read about before. Everyone has to be in agreement that, yes, let's open our relationship, whatever. But it sounded like he did it just so he could keep her, in my opinion. The way she gets pissed off if he wants to talk about it, saying, you're only allowed to ask me questions, 3 times, otherwise I will get frustrated. What the hell is that about? And then not seeking out counseling or anything? Really? Because that's messed up. How are you supposed to learn to move past it? It sounds like she's gaslighting the hell out of this guy, and she has him where she wants him, because I think in her mind she doesn't think that he has enough, balls to leave her, that she pretty much controls the relationship. And he even said that the open relationship, it was 4 months of hell. She would keep hooking up with guys after he said stop. She obviously doesn't respect anything about him. So I would dump her. It's like, 5 years together, it doesn't matter when she's literally pissing on their relationship. She doesn't give a fuck. So let's see what the comments say. Okay. Her response to you finding out that she is cheating on you. Yes, signing up on Ashley Madison and meeting with her lover at the motel is cheating, no matter if they had sex or played cards. Is to tell you that she wants to open the relationship. Her response to you telling her to close the relationship is to keep on hooking up with guys. This woman doesn't care about you or how you feel. So if I were in your shoes, then I'd ask myself, why do I allow anyone to treat me like that, and why am I still with this person? What do you get out of this marriage? Why are you still with her if you leave your love for her out? She made it pretty clear that she isn't interested in a monogamous marriage, and that she will have fun with other guys, either with you knowing it or behind your back. She doesn't respect you one bit. She doesn't care if you trust her or not. You need to respect yourself and make a decision about how you want to be treated. Please get tested for STDs. She's right on the money, or they are, because absolutely what I was thinking. And someone piggybacked on that and said yes, and she doesn't care if you trust her or not. That's a big, the resentment that comes with that, or that, I think this person meant, that's big. The resentment that comes with that is mental torment. She could care less, so how can she love you? Exactly. How can you love someone that it almost seems like she enjoys treating him like garbage. And I don't understand that. Let's see. Here's another one. He's being gaslighted to death. She must be extremely manipulative. This is reading between the lines a bit, so I may be wrong, but I doubt he really even wanted an open relationship in the first place. You can be manipulated to that, and she didn't stop. You are constantly gaslighted. You stop trusting yourself to believe what's real and right in front of you. Straight up psychological abuse. Absolutely. I don't know. This one, it's sick how some people almost enjoy playing games and being manipulative and gaslighting people. I don't know, it's sick, but my advice for this dude is to get a divorce and run. Doesn't sound like they have kids, so hopefully it's a pretty clean divorce. So, I can only hope. Okay, that's my first segment. I am going to save it. Let's see. I know this is probably really boring for you guys, but I figured do the podcast. You can, see what happens. I don't know. So, just typing in here. Then I'm going to pick out the interlude music because I don't know. I think it adds something to it when there's like music in between story segments. It kind of just, it adds something, you know? So let's see. Okay, now to find a different story. I don't know, when I read ones about infidelity and stuff like that, it breaks my heart. Okay, this one should be pretty interesting. Please don't tell me they ended up deleting this. Because it's, am I the asshole for getting mad at my husband for selling his wedding ring? It's like, please. Don't delete this. Oh no, I'm gonna restart this because it says refresh, so hopefully that works, right? Oh no, it's been a while since I've been on my Kindle, so I kind of forget. I don't know. Like I said, I like the way Reddit is, like in an app instead of like the computer format. I don't like that. I don't know. And if I have time, I'll try editing this down, but we shall see. It's gonna be a long night. Okay, perfect. Yay. Okay, I'm gonna start. Okay, our next Reddit story is from the subreddit Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole for getting mad at my husband for selling his wedding ring? Me, female 27, and my husband, male 28, have two beautiful twins 6 years ago. A few months after that, we got married. Last month, my husband lost his job, and since he doesn't even have his high school finished, he has been struggling to find a new one. I thankfully have been saving money ever since he started working, so we have enough to sustain ourselves for some time. This morning, I had breakfast with some friends, so my husband took care of the kids. We live far from each other, so I warned my husband that I was going to be out for at least 2 hours. When I returned home, our sons came running to me to show me the new toys their dad bought them, along with backpacks full of stuff for school, which I found weird since they started school in August. I feared the worst and I went to check my savings, but everything was there. I confronted my husband, who was in our bedroom. They have a lot of misspellings in this, so I'm sorry. And I asked him, where did he get the money to buy that stuff? He told me he sold his wedding ring because the kids asked him when would they buy stuff for school, and he panicked thinking he wouldn't have money for it. Completely irrational. We still had more than 3 months to worry about that. I was devastated. I couldn't believe he would so easily get rid of something that represents our marriage, and I told him so. He broke down and said he just doesn't want to deny our sons a normal childhood. And I told him that isn't an excuse for his irresponsibility. I told him I was going to return the backpacks and all the other stuff to see if I can get the ring back, but he won't allow me to, and said if I do that, he'll buy everything back again. I couldn't talk more because our sons entered the room and he hugged them, which annoys me because it's as if he's skipping our discussion. I needed to vent, so I told my parents and my friends what had happened. My parents said I'm right on being angry, but that they warned me nothing good was going to come out of marrying someone without a real job. I don't agree with them, but I do feel disappointed in his actions within the last month. My friends, on the other hand, think I'm going too hard on him, and that based on past stuff I've told them, he sounds like an extreme people pleaser. Am I the asshole for the way I reacted? I'm deeply hurt by what he did. I think he was selfish and should have consulted me before doing something like that. And then edit number 1. Some stuff that may be important. I don't work. Me and my husband agreed I was going to take care of the kids and he was going to work. He's studying for his GED. He has been rejected from many works because he doesn't have his diploma, but that sounds suspicious. I think they just think he's undocumented, like someone here suggested. He's Latino. He has already sold stuff of his in the past to buy the kids stuff, clothing, food, toys, etc. I'll try to get the ring back. I already took the toys and backpacks from my sons. My husband begged me not to do this to our sons, so I gave them the backpacks, toys, and school supplies back. Some people were curious on what toys they were. It's some Play-Doh, a table puzzle, and some Legos. He said it can help them stay creative and train their memory. Another edit. Okay, I'll do this. If my husband doesn't get a job before this Friday, I'll look for one myself. Happy? Okay. She is all up on his ass about a job, but yet she's not working. And then don't forget that she said that morning she was going to go out to breakfast with friends. Well, she's worried about money so bad. Why is she spending it on breakfast with friends? That seems more like a luxury, a want more than a need. So it's like, lady, you should really look at your budget or look at your finances and budget more. It's like, yeah, you put money away, but, she's like policing him and everything he does, but I don't know, it's okay for her to go out and have lunch and breakfast and whatever. I don't know, that kind of irked me. And then, to me, it seems like this guy is just trying to do some nice things for his sons. I mean, what's so bad about that? He's not working at the moment, and he sold his wedding ring to afford that. And she said something about the wedding ring. Hold on, let me find it. Sold his wedding ring because the kids asked him when they would buy blah, blah, blah. Okay. How doesn't believe he would so easily get rid of something that represents our marriage. And I told him so. Okay, this ring right here on my finger, this does not represent my marriage with my husband. Yeah, it's symbolism that, I'm married, but this does not represent our marriage. What represents our marriage is me being able to trust him being my partner, him having my back. There's times in, our lives where he got laid off because with his area, his specialty, they just weren't hiring. So then I stepped up. And also she said she was going to stay home while the kids were young. Well, they're 6 now, so why doesn't she go get a job? I mean, why is she putting all this pressure and stress on her husband when she could so easily get a job? I don't get that. Because sometimes, there's times where I had to step up, and it's only fair. And then, my husband, he's amazing. He has amazing work ethic. He's amazing. So by me stepping up, whatever, getting a better job, I had no problem in that at all. I don't know, this lady irks me just at the end, how she's like, okay, I'll do this. If my husband doesn't get a job before this Friday, I'll look for one myself. Happy? Yeah, I am. Okay, let's read the comments. Someone put, not the asshole, but does your husband have impulse control issues? How did he lose his job? Why in March would he panic for school stuff for August? Why did he drop out of high school? All these things sound like instant emotional decisions and impulse control. My ex had the same issue, and it nearly destroyed his life. Then it was all crossed out, the text was, and it says, edit. Having read the full comments after other readers alerted me to all the updates, you're the asshole, OP. You sound beyond lazy. Get out there and get a job to support your family while your husband studies to get his GED. Earning money and having a job won't kill you. Exactly. If he has his GED, that'll only better him, and he'll be able to get a better job. So, how hard is that, And then someone put, does your husband have impulse control issues? And then they put, he's too self-sacrificing. Okay, actually, I think this is OP. She put, he's too self-sacrificing, if that makes sense. He sold stuff of his in the past to get the kids clothing and toys, and I've noticed he sometimes gives his breakfast to the kids, stuff like that. I'm sorry, but that is so sweet. It's like he just wants to be a good dad, and I don't know. It just, to me, that's sweet. And then, how did he lose his job? She answered, he had a non-legal job as a cook for a restaurant a friend of his had. The friend sold the restaurant and decided to move to another country, and therefore left my husband without a job. The owner of the new restaurant didn't want to hire him due to his lack of high school diploma. Which is stupid. If he's already worked there, then he probably knows the ins and outs. Why would him not having a diploma, make or break anything? Someone said, gonna go out on a limb and say, papers. Most non-legal kitchen workers are undocumented. And then someone said, if that's the case, it's possible that the tradition of marriage, rings symbolizing fidelity, is not valued in his culture. This might be a misunderstanding that can be addressed with extra sympathy and understanding. Then someone said, I've never heard that rings are about fidelity. Exactly, it's just, I read like the whole symbolism behind a wedding ring, like how you put it on the finger that has a major, vein or artery that goes straight to your heart, something like that. But yeah, having a ring doesn't mean, I don't know, shit about your marriage. I could be wearing a ring and have the worst cheating husband there is, but just because I'm wearing a ring doesn't make it him better. I don't know. That's just messed up logic. Let's see. Someone put, my husband and I have silicone bands. Cost $8 each. It's not the band, it's what they're supposed to symbolize. But it's up to the couple to keep that in mind. Exactly. My husband, he never wears his ring, and that's fine with me because with his job, he can't. He showed me this nasty picture of what happened to this guy who got his ring caught in machinery, and it just stripped his whole finger off and just down to the bone. It was so gross. So yeah, him not wearing his ring, especially when he's working 10, 12s, 5, 6 days a week, I get it. But then there's, when he remembers, he'll wear it. It's not like, oh my God, You're not wearing your ring. You're totally cheating on me. No. Then someone said the diamond industry is an effing racket, propped up by cultural expectations of wedding rings. Good for you for not falling for it. Edit, since this blew up, silicone bands are also safer. They're designed to break when caught on something instead of giving you a ring avulsion. Consider this a gore trigger warning if you choose to Google that. Exactly. Okay, here it is. In body magic, the fourth finger on the left symbolizes the heart. In Roman mythology, it was associated with Venus, and it was thought that a vein ran from this finger to the heart. This is why in Christian weddings, the groom puts a ring on this finger on his bride. He is binding her heart to him. In Judaism, the ring goes on the second finger of the right hand. This finger represents female power. Traditionally, witches direct spells by pointing with the index finger. This is why it's considered so rude to point. When a groom puts his ring on his finger on his bride, he is restricting her power to him. Wow, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Anyway, I'm gonna go on and say OP is definitely the asshole. It's like, for now, get a job, let your husband be able to study and really study instead of working his ass off, trying to study it, and then possibly not being able to, pass. So, yeah, I don't know why, but this woman in this story just irks me. I mean, ugh, people. Okay, and then done with that segment. So I'm going to label it. I mean, would you guys get mad if your husband sold his wedding ring to, I don't know, get stuff for his kids? I mean, me personally, I wouldn't, because my husband rarely wears it to begin with, but yeah, that's just me. Oh no, and the type of ring my husband has is tungsten. When I asked him what kind of metal he wanted something super hard. So I think it's the hardest metal. And yeah, I mean, it's not like, it's platinum and has diamonds in it. Then, I mean, I might be a little upset depending on the circumstances. But, it's just, I'm not one to really be mad. I don't know. Because to me, I can just, I don't know, give him another one. They aren't, it's not going to break the bank for me getting him another one if, I don't know, times are tough and he needed to sell it for some reason. Okay. I think we're going to continue on with rings and selling them. Okay, guys, I think I'm going to stick with the whole subject of wedding rings and selling them behind your significant other's back. Damn, that was removed too. Damn, that was a good one too. Darn. Oh. No. Okay, this one, I don't know, this one should be interesting. It's from the subreddit Beyond the Bump, which is, pregnancy, the bump, life after having your baby. So, okay, our next segment is going to be from Reddit Beyond the Bump. Feeling like an absolute failure as a mother because the universe will not give me a break. And this is a rant rave, but it is just a vent when I even debated on posting. I'm using a throwaway out of sheer embarrassment. Plus, my coworkers I know use Reddit. I don't need them finding this out and reporting me. Honestly, I did better financially wise when I barely made above minimum wage. SNAP, Medicaid, WIC, daycare assistance. I was able to afford groceries more, not have to worry about taking my daughter to the pediatrician for routine shots. Yeah, it sucked ass making $9.75 an hour, but at least I didn't have to worry about either of us going hungry. Now I make $15.25 an hour, and my SNAP and Medicaid were cut off because I make too much. The only thing is, I still get WIC and daycare assistance, but the list goes on and on. But I don't. I regularly have to juggle which utility can be paid, which can be put off. I have to calculate groceries down to the penny. I skip meals very often to make sure my 15-month-old can eat. She's also teething and cranky as hell, waking up 5 to 6 times per night because her teeth are bothering her. Her sperm donor pays $50 a month in child support because he doesn't work, or if he does, it's under the table stuff, paying straight cash, so he is not required by our state to pay any more than that. Today was my day off. I thought, hell yeah, I can get laundry done. Our apartment doesn't have an in-unit washer and dryers, so yay laundromat. But then daycare called and said baby girl was running a temperature of 100.8 and had a runny nose. Gotta come up, pick her up, no exceptions. Well, fuck. There goes my day. Pick up kiddo, she's obviously in pain. Her cheeks are bright red. She's chewing on her fingers. Daycare staff said she refused to nap and has been cry screaming on and off. They need a note from her pediatrician for her to come back tomorrow. Off to the pediatrician office we go. Pediatrician says it's just teething. Rotate Tylenol and ibuprofen every 4 hours. It's my day off, so I really wasn't expecting to spend money I don't have. Next payday is the 1st, when all the bills are due, so I was literally going to just count change and survive what we have in our kitchen. Take her to daycare and back and forth to work. That's it. Now I'm not alone in the plight of literally scraping by until payday. I have less than $10 to my name. Took the screaming baby to Walmart, and all they had in stock was the Motrin brand, which is nearly $9. In a moment of desperation, I put it in the top part of the cart where my daughter was sitting and put my purse over it and just walked out. I feel so fucking guilty. I start to have panic attacks, and my chest and stomach hurt every time I think about it. I know Walmart isn't hurting over some infant Motrin, but the last time I stole something, it was some fake costume jewelry from the mall when I was 15. I'm 22 now. I shouldn't be doing this. I'm terrified to get arrested next time I go to fucking Walmart. I'm terrified I'm going to have to do this again because I have no other way to make ends meet. To keep my kid from being in pain while she cuts these goddamn molars, I just need the universe to give me a break. I keep the apartment at 66 degrees to keep the electric costs down. I dress my 15-month-old in layers. I shower maybe twice a week to keep the water bill costs down low. I can't remember the last time I filled my car to a full tank because gas prices are still $3.99 per gallon here. I don't expect support from this. I know I effed up. I know how bad this is and how shitty of a mother I am to do this. I have been crying on and off since we got home. At least my daughter isn't screaming in pain. She's finally napping, and hopefully daycare won't call me at work tomorrow telling me to come pick her up again. This just sucks. I don't want to be in this position anymore. Things have got to get better, right? Edit. Thank you all so much for the outpour of love and support. Please know I appreciate it so much. My inbox has been flooded in the time it took me to get my kiddo asleep and take a shower. I'm going to try and reply to everyone as soon as possible. This was really unexpected. I received some crappy messages from trolls, but I am so thankful and grateful for everyone sharing resources, ways to get more assistance, plasma donations, and just general support. I'm blown away. Thank you all so much. Man, that really made me so sad. It makes me grateful that I'm not in that position. That poor woman, I couldn't imagine. And also, I learned from Reddit that Walmart, they won't necessarily bust you for one $9 item. I guess they have cameras and people keep, an ongoing tab on you. Because I read this one girl was stealing groceries at the self-checkout every time she went in. And so far, she calculated that she was up to like $1,500 worth of groceries. And someone told her that they're just waiting for the right moment, and then they're going to pounce, because then they're going to make sure that they have enough to, prosecute her and really put her away. So sometimes they won't go after like one little item. They will just keep, watching you until you really mess up, because people get more and more comfortable, like, oh, got away with a $9, bottle of Motrin. And then, usually gets more expensive and whatever. But let's read the comments. Let's see. Someone said, I see you. I see you trying your hardest and doing your best. I'm sorry you're in such a bad situation. I wish I could help you and hug you. And then OP puts, it just feels nice to be seen, to be heard. I never want to be in this position again. I just want to make enough to thrive off of. Not so much just barely scrape by / survive. I know things will eventually get better. I just got to keep working at it and make things better. And someone said, you sound like an amazing mom. I hope that I'm half the mother that you are when mine is born. And then, wow, someone said, DM me your Venmo or Cash App. That is not right. That is so sweet. Someone said, what state are you in? I'd like to help if I can. And someone said, we live in a dystopian society, truly. I'm so sorry. You should not have to struggle like this. And then someone said, you are not a bad mother. You did what any good mother should, whatever it takes to care for your child. It's tragic and appalling that any working mother in America should find herself in this position. Please DM me your Venmo. I'd like to help in any small way. And then she put, thank you. Goodness knows I appreciate it. Really, I've been kind of overwhelmed by the sheer amount of support I've received. It's been shocking and overwhelming, but I'm beyond grateful. I tried to message you, but for some reason it isn't going through. Not sure why Reddit is being difficult right now. I love it when I see someone genuinely in need and she's not even asking for support or help. And you see the comments, the people in the comments just come together and they're the ones asking for her Venmo and her Cash App and just things like that. It really warms my heart. I really, really hope this woman does, a lot better and she's able to get, to the first and is okay. Because today's what? The 24th? That's 8 days. That's eternity when you're broke. This poor woman. And not to mention, baby food has gone up. Baby cereal, formula, there's such a crazy shortage right now. I noticed that it started, getting harder to find formula. It was just, there was lots of out of stocks, not as much stock. And then that recall happened with Similac where, there's this bacteria that, could cause meningitis, sepsis. And a lot of people had, recalled formula. And they're in a panic, especially people that were on WIC because it happened on a Friday. So they couldn't get it just sorted out quickly. So I remember I didn't know until Sunday because I went to pick up formula, diapers, whatever. And when I looked into, the formula is now behind a big glass thing. You have to call for it. When I saw how little of formula there was, I started panicking. I took a picture. I sent it to my husband. I was freaking out. And I was talking to this mom and she told me about the recall and everything and how her whole WIC supply was basically, it was recalled. She couldn't use it. So she had a huge can. She is telling me that she's stressed about money and not sure if she could, if she's going to get by. I get manufacturers coupons from Similac where they're, $5 off, whatever. I have them in my wallet. I gave her some and I told her, I hope this helps. And, I could tell she wanted to hug me, but, COVID. But you could tell by how grateful she was. And it made me happy that, yeah, I couldn't, technically give her cash. I didn't have any on me. But just being able to give her coupons that $5 off, I mean, it helps. And, it's just one of those moments where, moms unite, where you want to make sure, your baby's fed and the person you're talking to, that their baby's fed. It's kind of cool when stuff like that happens, when you band together for the common good. you know what I mean? So I hope that woman is out there and doing well, you know. And then there's someone that I actually met on Reddit that I saw a post that she asked if people had expired coupons, and I had a ton. So every now and then I mail her a ton of coupons, and she can use them, like for her church, for I think a food shelf, or for a women's shelter for DV. So it makes me feel good that, you know, coupons that I don't use, whatever, they can go towards something good like that. I don't know. I love when I'm able to help in any kind of way like that. So if you're able to help too, like, you know, just try if you can, you know. I don't know. Giving to others has always, I don't know, made me feel so good, you know. It's just, I don't know. I get a rush from it, I guess. I don't know. Call me weird, whatever, but I love doing it. Okay, done with that segment. And yeah, I am a weirdo where I don't know if it's a weirdo per se, but I love helping people. Um, where I live, it gets very cold. And there, I have lots of jackets. I don't always use them. There's times where if I know someone's struggling and them or one of their children that, I don't know, like a teenager type, you know, not like a little kid, but someone that can fit into one of my jackets, I'll give them one of my jackets, and it just makes me feel better. And I make it sound like, you know, you're doing me a favor. I have so many jackets. I don't need them, you know. Okay. Feeling like an absolute failure as a mother because the universe won't give me a break. I'm almost done. Okay. Now for okay, this one sounds messed up. Okay, this one is coming from the best of Redditor updates. Mom tries to trick OOP into signing on to mom's new mortgage. And this is ongoing. So, it was posted a week ago. My 25 female, mother 60 female, and her boyfriend 60 female. I think she means male because boyfriend, but whatever. Had a house in Ottawa, which was a nice home. She's always hated the home for reasons I think could have easily been renovated. Example, new shower tiles, new doors, or adding basic finishes to the basement. It was a new build at the time, 2017. I, as well as the mortgage advisor, advised against it given that her new home she wanted went for $820,000. Whoa. And she still had quite a lot left on her mortgage. In the end, the bank pre-approved her and her boyfriend for $500,000 with the knowledge that the rest of the fees will be covered using the profit from her old home. Fast forward to now, she keeps asking me to come on as a third person, given that with my good job and with my salary of over $65,000, the pre-approval amount will be higher. The issue is I am now married and my husband and I are saving up to buy a home in the next few years. She dismissed it and said doing this with her will build my credit, and when I'm ready to buy a home, the bank will approve me and she will definitely co-sign with us. Is this a thing? Because she went and told her mortgage advisor that I'm interested, but I don't think she gave her the details. Not only that, I'm pregnant and will be going on maternity leave, which means it's not the time to think about things like this because I will technically be on employment insurance, which is exactly why my husband and I are waiting until I get back to work and he gains more security in his work. I'm at a loss on what to do because my mom has screwed me over for small amounts of money, so that alone I don't trust. But it's a fact she's already telling the mortgage advisor I want in, and she's disregarding the fact that I'm married with her own grandkid on the way. However, she did state doing this will build my credit, and it will be easier to qualify for a new mortgage down the line with my husband. Okay, update as of today. Last week I posted what my mom was trying to do, which was have me co-sign her mortgage. Many people have asked for an update. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to post the link to the last post here. Yesterday I spoke to the mortgage advisor who not only admitted that my mom was a difficult client, as she was trying to do the impossible by getting this mortgage, but he also revealed that the reason she needed me to co-sign the mortgage was because she did not want to listen to his recommendation, which was to return the car she had leased, on which the maturity date is almost due, and not to finance a new car until she gets her mortgage funded, 2 months max. This is to ensure she does not have too much debt and that her pre-approval amount stays the same. Instead of doing that, she wanted me on the mortgage so she can increase the funding approval rate and get a new car financed. My husband and I were disgusted and shocked. The mortgage advisor was very honest and stated that if I get in on this, it will significantly reduce my borrowing power, and I will be on the hook for years. He even joked and asked, would you like to stay stuck renting with the inability to borrow and a huge dip on your credit while she drives the newest fancy cars and lives in a big home? He told us not to do it and think of our future. We're expecting a baby in the fall. To cut it short, most of you are right. She had no intention of helping me in the long run, and it was only to satisfy her needs while having no issues leaving my husband and baby and I on the hook for almost $1 million. I've confronted my mom, who has yet to answer my texts. My husband has suggested we just cut her out. I want to take the time to thank you all for honest advice and to the mortgage advisor who put reality before money. Wow, what a shit mom. She said, if anyone has earned a no-contact relationship with their kid, it's this mom right here. Can't imagine screwing over my own child like this. And someone said, yeah, she'd be selling OP out for an Audi and a McMansion. Talk about mom of the year. And then someone said, to be fair, 820 grand probably won't get you anything even remotely close to McMansion in Ottawa, but still, I don't know. What a shitty mom. I don't know, obviously, I haven't been to Canada. I don't know what the market's like in Ottawa, but, I mean, if $820,000 won't get you, like, I don't know, somewhat of a mansion, I don't know, it makes me want to kind of look at their real estate. But, anyway. Okay, done with this segment. Okay, let's look for the next one. Okay, a mother-in-law one. Some of these mother-in-laws, it blows my mind. Like, wow. why this is being so slow. It's like everyone I pick, they've been removed or deleted. Like, what the hell? I know they're good ones because obviously I saved them for a reason. But okay, hopefully this one works. Okay, haven't even looked at this, but it seems pretty crazy by the title. Okay, this comes from Best of Redditor Updates. OP, entitled sister steals cats and nearly kills actual sister. I am not OP, this is a repost. Original is by blah blah blah. Okay, this is a story of a complicated, or this story is sort of complicated, so I'll try to make it as clear as possible. First off, I have no freaking idea why this woman was even what this woman was even thinking, but apparently that's par for the Karen course. Cast: Petunia, half-sister on dad's side; Lily, older half-sister from my mom's first marriage, and the only sister whom I was raised with. Parents: mom and dad, me, the avocado. To start the story, you need some background. My father had a best friend whom he had known for years. Friend is sterile. Asked dad for donation. Dad agrees under the circumstance that he will not be involved because he was already with my mom and had the above mentioned sister. Friend agrees, donation happens, Petunia is born, and friend dies when she is 4 months. Pet's mother remarries very rich man, and all is well with the world. Fast forward 16 years, and Petunia finds dad on the Book of Faces and demands to see him. He's careful, tries to get a hold of her mother, no dice, but tells her if she wants to meet him, then her mother must approve it, and sets up a place to meet. Well, Petunia shows up with a bunch of bags, and dad watches a car drive off. Pet has lied, and her parents have dumped her on us for the summer. She spends the entire summer making mother, dad, me, and sister miserable because we can't afford the things she's used to. Any attempt to call mother is ignored because they're on vacation in Europe. Dad doesn't want to call police because he feels bad for Petunia. Petunia leaves, and we think she'll stay away. Nope. She shows up 3 years later with a baby and tries to get Lily to babysit because you're the oldest. You're old enough to have kids of your own, so this will be like practice for you. Lily declines. She actually doesn't like children and says something along the lines of, the only babies I will ever care for is them, meaning her cats. Petunia refuses to accept this and keeps hounding us all to babysit because family. Lily flat out tells her, you're not my family. You just my stepfather's daughter. You can't pull that card on me. I said no, and I mean it. We think that's the end of it because by now no one is wanting to babysit, which leads to angry rants on the Book of Faces about how we're ruining her life and keeping her from enjoying her youth because we're so selfish. Again, this is ignored, but not for long. 2 days ago, Petunia showed up at the house claiming she wanted to talk to Dad. He was busy and no one else was home, so he told her to wait in the living room because he would only be gone a few minutes. Apparently this was long enough for Petunia to grab my sister's cats and leave. Dad said he came back and was shocked she was gone, but shrugged it off. Mom and Sis came home an hour later, and when Dad mentioned the visit, they all thought this was weird. An hour later, I have come home and Sister is frantically looking for her cats. It's assumed they got out when Petunia came over. She let them out. And we're looking around the trees and calling for the fur balls. Sister's having a full-on panic attack, and Dad ends up calling an ambulance because she passed out. Sister has bad anxiety. Sister ends up in the hospital. Mom stays with her, and Dad keeps looking for the cats. I'm keeping in contact with Mom via text. She lets me know Sister is being admitted for observation. Dad and I are frantic because we know if we don't find the cats, or worse, find them dead, Sister may go downhill. We are lucky, though, as not too long after we had just about given up hope, we get a call from my older brother. Turns out Petunia had taken the cats to the Humane Society, the same one he worked at, and was claiming the cats needed to be put down immediately. He didn't see Petunia turn them in because he was in the back, but he recognized the fuzzballs and was able to get Dad to come down and claim ownership of the cats. Now Dad is working on filing a lawsuit and a police case for stolen property, and the harm this did to my sister. The icing on the cake was when Dad texted Petunia to ask why she did this, and her claim was, because Lily can babysit without worrying about those horrible creatures. And then, was there ever anything about Petunia's mom and stepdad abandoned her at OP's house in the first place? Was that all so they could take some stupid vacation? OP, essentially. They dropped her off with the intention of just leaving her there for the summer. Okay, update, February 2021. Okay, I will be updating as more happen, but seeing that so many were asking for an update, I figured I've left you all in limbo long enough to have something worth posting. 1. Sister's back home. Yay. The doctors had to run a ton of tests, including stress tests, blood tests, ECGs, etc., and told my parents that the stress caused something called broken heart syndrome, which my sister's on medication for now, and while in the hospital, and will be monitored every so often to make sure it doesn't happen again. Dad asked if this could have killed her, and the doctor basically said it was very close to a heart attack, which is scary in and of itself. 2. Petunia has been arrested. Dad filed a report stating everything that she had done, and while this is super satisfying, it gets better. They put a warrant out for her arrest because of the theft, but also because she was apparently on probation for a DUI. And guess what, people? She had a ticket to Italy in her bag, leading the officers to safely assume she was trying to flee the country, also against her probation. Not only but that, my brother was able to go back to the Humane Society and get the login sheet for the day she turned the cats in. She signed my sister's name, so now we're looking at a possible case of fraud, assuming not actually proven yet. 3. A restraining order has been put into the works, with every member of my immediate family being placed on it so that she cannot contact any of us in the near future. Her mother and stepfather are threatening to sue us for harassment, since apparently it's our fault she's now being held in custody. Sarcasm. All forms of social media that me and or my siblings' parents use have been locked down or downright deleted because we actually don't trust her or her parents not to try and sneak in using fake accounts. I'll give more details as they come. Thank you for your time. Bows. Update a year later. I won't give details because the case is still ongoing, but Petunia is facing additional charges, as are her parents. 1. They've lost custody of the baby, who has been taken by the father and his parents. 2. We've had to move because of the harassment and attacks from Petunia's flying monkeys. 3. My sister is currently on several medications for anxiety, depression, and PTSD from all of this, and is terrified to leave the house now. She's in therapy and seems to be doing better, but she's struggling. I know it's not the happy ending everyone was wishing for, but it is what it is. We're just taking it a day at a time. Wow. What a bitch to just drop off her cats at the Humane Society and say they need to be euthanized immediately. Like, what is wrong with her? I don't know. I hope she goes to jail. Another thing that bothers me is they consider your pet property. To me, that's gross. It's like, that's your pet. You know, we have a dog, Gus. He's family. He's not property. But I'm glad that they were able to, you know, I think they said arrest her, and then other charges are filing in. I don't know. That is so messed up. Like, what a monster. Okay, the comments. This is so bittersweet. I'm glad OP and their family are safe from Petunia, but my heart goes out to Lily. I'm super attached to my pets, and I could totally see myself having a severe reaction in her position. I hope she continues with her treatment and finds peace. That's so sad, too, that she's afraid to leave the house. I don't know. I hope she gets better, too. Someone said, I understand that Petunia has a severe problem mentally, but what did she think the endgame would be after murdering the cats? That Lily would just shrug and watch her baby? Exactly. Like, what was, you know, the long game here? You know, Petunia. What the hell were you thinking? I don't know. Sometimes when I read Reddits like this, it's like, wow, people are nuts. So, I don't know. Petunia, like, I hope she gets everything she deserves coming to her. Okay, done with that segment. And I think this will be it for this podcast, episode 5. Let's see, entitled... Okay, then after this, I'll do my outro and hopefully call it good. Okay, guys, that concludes episode 5 of I'm Just an Asshole Sometimes. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you could give a rating on Spotify, that'd be great. I'd really appreciate it. Check out my socials if you want to have a discussion about any of these stories. I don't know. I'd love to discuss any one of them. So, on that note, guys, don't be an asshole unless you absolutely have to. Playing it back. Okay, and this is behind the scenes of me doing the podcast. I don't know. Hopefully that was interesting. I don't know. I'm going to try to cut down a lot of it, I hope. But anyway, to everyone that has been supporting me, saying kind words, whatever, I appreciate it. The ones that are watching these and just incredibly supportive and sweet, thank you. I really appreciate it. So, thanks, guys. And as always, don't be an asshole. Unless they absolutely deserve it, like that Petunia chick. She deserved it. So, bye.